everyone to grab their pitchforks and torches because the Miami Hurricanes still don't have an athletic director and Manny Diaz is still our head coach. It's time to freak out and riot. What's going on, Canes fans? About that little intro, don't panic. There is no reason to freak out. That was just me impersonating Miami Hurricanes Twitter because it's just an absolute madhouse over there. Everyone's in full-on freak-out mode. Nobody knows what's going on. One guy says this is going on. Another guy that has inside sources says that something else is going on. Then those two guys butt heads. And then a third guy comes in and says, well, I got a phone call from such and such, and I heard that this is going on. And it's just a wild, crazy scene. And Canes fans right now are freaking out because all of these other schools are making these big-time splash hires. I mean, you have Lincoln Riley going from Oklahoma to USC. Who the heck saw that coming? You have Florida picking up Billy Napier from Louisiana. And now you possibly even have Clemson DC Brent Venables leaving them to go to Oklahoma to replace Lincoln Riley, and then possibly even Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame to go to LSU, and I'm just getting started. You also have Duke looking for a new head coach. You have Virginia Tech looking for a new head coach, and then once these other coaches leave these other schools, then they're looking for head coaches. This is getting crazy. So what I want to do is take just a moment and chill everyone out a bit. I want to make a couple of points about the head coaching search, which, of course, right now, Manny Diaz is still employed, but I still firmly believe that he will be let go, and it should be very soon. And I also want to talk about the athletic director search because that's actually step number one. That's something that we need to take care of. And I've made it known that we're going to do several of these videos over the next few weeks, and they're going to be short little small ones to keep everybody up to date with what the news is and what's going on. So I plan on posting several of these a week. So the point that I wanted to make and why everyone should chill out for a little bit is because I understand the frustration with fans and seeing all of these moves being made, right? So a lot of these things have happened very quickly for these schools. And, you know, it seems like Miami has been working with this forever, right? I mean, we fired Blake James a few weeks ago, and literally all we've done is listen to a bunch of people make their wish list, and we've heard no actual real news. So trust me, I understand the frustration. I really do. And when people come out and they say, we just need to be patient, guys, Miami Hurricanes fans are going to say, well, bro, I've been patient for at least the last 20 years. I am tired of sitting back and being patient and waiting for these things to happen. Somebody needs to make a move, right? I feel you. I understand where you're coming from. But I truly do feel like that this time around, things are different. And let's start out with the head coaching search, right? So everyone's in panic mode over that because Manny Diaz is still employed. And the counter argument to that right now, because this is coming from a guy who wants Manny Diaz canned. I do. I don't want him to be around in 2022. But from a business standpoint, from the school's perspective, from the boosters' perspective, waiting a little bit longer on Manny Diaz and letting him go makes sense because his buyout drops. It's $1 to $2 million. So those are funds that could be set to the side and put towards something else. The athletic director, the big splash hire head coach that we want, or some extra people on his staff. So, you know, maybe you're saying, hey, these are billionaires, Coop. Like, what's $1 to $2 million? Those guys didn't become millionaires and billionaires because they just toss around millions of dollars on buyouts and other stupid things if they can avoid it. They're business people. So the move with Manny Diaz just makes sense. I know that the early signing period is coming up, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm not panicking or worried about that. Will it negatively impact us in the future? Probably. Our recruiting class is already struggling pretty badly. But there's also the fact that this AD hire and head coaching hire, when it comes to that, is much more important in my opinion. We're truly looking at the future of our program. So I'm not worried about that part. Our main targets, guys, here's what you have to understand. Was Lincoln Riley someone that you guys wanted to coach Miami? Was he on your list? Was Billy Napier on your list? Was Brent Venables on your list? Was Brian Kelly on your list? The answer for most of us is probably no. Absolutely not. None of those guys were on my radar. I didn't want any of them. Our number 2 targets, in my opinion, and I think most of us can agree on that, is Mario Cristobal, Lane Kiffin, and you could maybe argue like Luke Fickell or even Mark Stoops if you want to, but I still feel like those top 2 are our big targets. But the point I'm making regardless is that none of those guys have been offered jobs anywhere else. So what are we worried about? Our biggest targets, the guys that we really want, they're still out there. They're still on the table, and we could still offer those guys. So there's no reason to panic about that. Honestly, my personal opinion is that things have been in the works for a while. We didn't just up and fire Blake James all of a sudden, guys. They had been thinking about that. And I am, trust me, I'm not standing up here to give the University of Miami more credit than they deserve or to defend them, because they have made some bonehead moves in the past. And fans have a right to be skeptical about everything that they do, because look at previous hires and things that they've done. So I get it. But once again, this time there are some new people stepping up to the plate. There are additional funds that have been pushed in. And yeah, there are some people arguing up top, and guys are butting heads, but that's good. They're going to take some time, and they're going to work these things out. So I personally feel like that things have been happening in the background for quite a while. And I think that things have already been set in motion. We're just trying to work out all of the small details. And what that's going to mean is when these announcements start happening for us, guys, it's going to be very fast. It's going to seem like it's bing, bang, boom. Like, Coop, we just brought in an AD, and then now you're telling me that we're announcing a head coach 2 days later. I'm not saying that's the exact timetable, but I'm just saying things are going to move quickly once they do start moving. I still firmly believe that Mario Cristobal is an actual real possibility, and right now you're not going to hear a whole lot about that because he's focusing on a Pac-12 championship. Oregon and Utah are playing this weekend, so you're not going. Mario Cristobal is a pretty stand-up dude, so you're not going to hear him do an interview and say, I'm thinking about, talking to them at Miami. You're not going to hear anything about it, guys. He's going to continue to recruit for Oregon. He's going to continue to coach up those players. He's going to keep doing his job because that's currently where he's employed. Has Miami touched base with him at some point? They've had to. Think about it. They have at least gauged to see if there's any interest there. They've made a phone call. No athletic director or athletic director. Manny Diaz still being the head coach or not being the head coach, we have reached out and at least touched base. I still feel like there's a possibility there because we've already talked about it, guys. Money, location, family, all those things matter. Lane Kiffin, in my opinion, has hinted at it and been open about it, as open as he could be without just saying it. Lane Kiffin wouldn't come to Miami. So worst case scenario, guys, like we just said, our top 2 options are still on the table. They've not been picked up by anyone else, which would just shut that down completely. Mario Cristobal has not been given some 5 or 10 year extension, so he's still on the table. So I'm just saying, don't panic about the head coaching stuff, and don't panic that Manny Diaz is still here. I still believe that he will be canned 100%. I think he will, because with the new athletic director coming in, I think they're going to have to do what they got to do to get this program back on track, and retaining Manny Diaz is just not how to get that done. So speaking of athletic directors, let's go ahead and dive into that and get a quick update for this as well. So one of the big leading candidates that everyone's talked about is Tom Jurich. I even posted a video a week and a half ago saying Tom Jurich is the most likely hire. He worked with Louisville, so that was an ACC team. He worked directly with Adidas. But there was all that stuff with the FBI investigation into the recruiting scandal that went down while he was there that led to him being let go. But then later on down the road, they announced that he had been cleared of all charges in any wrongdoing. So I feel like that Tom Jurich is still pretty high up on the list, but it's very possible that maybe Miami kind of backed off a little bit. And some of that could be due to the search firm that came in. So for those of you that aren't aware, Miami did bring in a search firm to help them interview athletic directors and things. And to be honest with you, that's not going over very well. A lot of the people high up at Miami are not in agreement with the people working with the search firm. So for all I know, they might have even decided to just part ways, and Miami might be doing their own thing at this point. I can't confirm 100%, but I do know that they're not getting along very well. So Tom Jurich was kind of at the top. Now maybe he's not. If he's not, does that mean that Dan Radekovich is back on the table? That was another very popular pick and a guy who potentially wanted to come to Miami. He'd previously graduated from Miami back in the day with some type of business degree, and he's currently at Clemson. And we know that Brent Venables, the DC, just left, and then we don't really know the future of Clemson and what they're going to do there with Dabo Swinney and all that stuff. So is Radekovich back on the table? Another possibility here is that Alonzo Highsmith is actually looked at as the full-on AD, and this is a real possibility, guys. I was saying that, maybe we bring in Jurich and we make Alonzo Highsmith, football operations, some type of management thing like that. But it is a real possibility that Alonzo Highsmith could be the full-on athletic director. I was still a little sketchy on it because he didn't have college football athletic director position experience specifically. But I mean, the guy knows his stuff, and apparently when he walks in the room, he demands respect, and a lot of people at the University of Miami like him a lot and love him, and I do as well, and I would love to see him involved in some sort of way, but I do think he's a real possibility. Another name I've been hearing is Eddie Nunez. I really don't know a whole lot about the guy. I think that he has ties to Miami in some sort of way. I don't know if he graduated from Miami or what the deal is. He's currently the AD over at the University of New Mexico. I just don't know a whole lot about this guy. I do know that he, I believe, was great at raising money for like facility upgrades and things like that, but I don't know specifically where. I don't know his history, and I need to do some more research so I can actually bring you guys some more information on this dude. But that is another name that's in the mix. I would like to think that Mack Rhoades is still in the mix from Baylor, currently their athletic director, but I find that highly unlikely, just to be honest. So I think Mack Rhoades is probably off the table. It's more realistic that maybe Alonzo Highsmith ends up being the full-on athletic director, or maybe we revisit Dan Radekovich. And what these videos are, guys, so a lot of people are going to probably comment and say, well, this is just Coop's opinion, so why does it matter? Why should I listen to it? Well, number one, you're partially right there. A lot of this stuff is just my personal opinion. But what I'm also doing is taking into the mix information that is given to me from various different people. Now, I do not claim to be an insider. I never will. I'm not an insider channel. I'm not a breaking news channel. That's not what I do. But throughout the years of doing this, I've been doing this for 5 years, I have had a lot of people within the university that I know that have sent me messages and say, hey, Coop, I'm hearing this, I'm hearing that. Do with it as you wish. And sometimes I do incorporate little pieces of that into my videos. But I myself take that information with a grain of salt because I'm going to be blunt with you guys. Sometimes those people are right. Sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes they're right initially, and then things change because stuff is always just minute to minute, especially with these types of things. So I just a lot of times don't mention it or talk about it. So everything I'm saying, take it with a grain of salt. A lot of it is just my opinion, and it's just based off of research I've done, a gut feeling, and also throwing in some information that I've received from various different people. So that's kind of where I stand right now with this first update video, mostly just making the point, saying for everyone to calm down and chill out. There's hopefully some things coming up this week or next week. Not to worry about the early signing period. It kind of just is what it is. Some of you guys are freaking out about it. I'm not. I want to focus on getting the right athletic director in here and the right head coach. And again, not to worry about Manny because I still think his future as the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes is done. Yes, he's out recruiting. He was doing in-home visits literally yesterday on Sunday, the day after the Duke game. But right now he's still employed, so that's still his job. Of course he's still going to be doing it. Of course he's still working on recruiting because at the end of the day, anything could happen. Nothing is impossible. So could Manny Diaz be retained? This isn't how you guys wanted to end the video. But yes, it is an actual possibility. Do I think that's what happens? No. But could it happen? Yes, it could. So Man, I'm telling you that Mario Cristobal is definitely interested. They have touched base, and I think that we just need to give that a little more time. We need an athletic director in here first anyways. Do we have to have an athletic director to hire a head coach? I don't believe you necessarily have to, but it's definitely preferred, and it's what Miami is going to do, because Miami is trying to go about this by doing it the right way and not rushing anything. So they are going to want to bring in an athletic director and then officially hire a head coach. And this process, again, even if they've been doing things in the background, is still going to take several days or a week or two. So just sit tight, buckle up, enjoy the ride. All of our top choices when it comes to athletic director and head coaches are still on the table. So at this moment, other than just being impatient because we're tired of waiting, there's no reason to worry at this point in time. If we get to actual full-on freak-out mode and panic mode, trust me, I'll put out an update video, and I'll let you guys know. So thank you guys for watching this first update video. Leave your comments down below. Let's keep talking it out. Let's pretend like the season never ended and just keep the content coming up here on the channel and keep the talks heated down in the comment section, and let's talk it out, just man to man or man to woman or woman, whoever's watching this video. All right, let's have an adult conversation and let's talk about these options a little bit. And things could continue to change. I literally might post this video, guys, in 5 minutes from now have to post another one because some type of announcement is made. Anything could happen. So just stay tuned on this channel and I'll keep you guys updated as best I can. Remember, though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family, but at the end of the day, I got to say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out.